Hafaday, manana si Zeus. Good morning, colleagues. Imina 37 na legislature in GUÅHAN is called to order. Just want to thank our team from the executive director and all of his team and our central staff and our clerk's office and all of his team for getting us ready to come in today despite just getting our power on yesterday and a very limited water supply. So thank you, and for all your offices for getting you here today. So we will begin. Majority Leader Senator Shelton, you are recognized.
Seduus Masi, Madam Speaker, Hafaday, to our team and to our colleagues. Notwithstanding the House rules, I move to adopt today's legislative session agenda dated May 30th, 2023.
On that motion to adopt the session agenda, is there any objection? Those have been passed out on your desks, by the way. No, seeing no objection, motion carries. Let me also just say that there's the session drive is working and our internet is also working. Majority Leader, you are recognized.
Seduus Masi, Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move to waive legislative session agenda items 3 through 6.
On the motion to waive agenda items 3 through 6, is there any objection? Seeing no objection, motion carries. We are now on agenda item 2, which is a prayer, and Vice Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes, would you kindly lead us in prayer? All rise.
Manana Sizo, Speaker, and to my colleagues, Ginanitatas and Lahinas and Espiritu Santo, Amen. Heavenly Father, we gather here as a policy-making body to ask you to bestow your blessings upon us as we continue to do your work, as we continue to recover from this devastating storm that has hit us. Heavenly Father, we know that a lot of families have lost a lot, and some have even lost everything. But Heavenly Father, you're still a great God. Continue to guide us, continue to lead us, continue to protect us, and know that in your loving hands, we here on our beautiful island of Guam will come together and recover and continue to do your will. So Heavenly Father, we say your greatest prayer, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Ginanitatas and Lahinas and Espiritu Santo. Amen.
Please be seated. Seduus Masi, Vice Speaker. Clerks, please take the roll call.
Senator Barnett, Senator Blas, Senator Brown, Senator Dueñas, Senator Fisher, Senator Lujan, Vice Speaker Muñoz Barnes, Senator Parkinson, Senator Perez, Senator Canata, Senator San Agustin, Senator San Nicolas, Senator Shelton, Senator Typhoon, Speaker Terlaje. Madam Speaker, there is a quorum.
Thank you, clerks. Majority Leader, Senator Shelton, you are recognized.
Seduus Masi, Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move to waive legislative session agenda items 8 through 12.
There's a motion to waive agenda items regarding the journal, communications and petitions, messages from the governor, reports of standing committees, and reports of select committees. Is there any objection to waiving those items? Seeing no objection, motion carries. Majority Leader, you are recognized.
Seduus Masi, Madam Speaker, I move that bills introduced, bill numbers 98-37 COR through 102-37 COR, 103-37LS through 114-37LS, and 115-37COR through 128-37COR, and resolutions introduced, resolution numbers 84-37COR through 94-37COR, 95-37COR, 95-37LS through 123-37LS, and 124-37COR through 140-37COR be deemed to have been given their first reading.
On that motion regarding first reading of bills, is there any objection? Seeing no objection, motion carries. Majority Leader, you are recognized.
Sedulous Masi, Madam Speaker, I move to excuse senators not present for today's legislative session.
On that motion to excuse senators not present, is there any objection? Seeing no objection, motion carries. We're now on motions. Is there a motion? Majority Leader, you are recognized.
Sedulous Masi, Madam Speaker, I move to place Bill number 127-37COR, authored by Speaker Therese Terlaje, an act relative to authorizing MAGA'HÅGAN GUÅHAN to utilize no more than $50 million from FY 2023 General Fund appropriations for expenses resulting from civil defense, public safety, or health care emergencies resulting from Typhoon Mawar on the agenda.
On that motion to place on the agenda Bill number 127-37COR, is there any objection? Seeing no objection, motion carries. Majority Leader, you are recognized.
Sedulous Masi, Madam Speaker. I move to place Bill number 128-37COR, authored by Senator Joe S. and Agustin, an act to authorize MAGA'HÅGAN GUÅHAN to expend the sum of $14,556,248 available in the Rainy Day Fund identified in Public Law 36-107 for emergency expenses caused by Typhoon Mawar onto the session agenda.
On that motion to place Bill number 128-37COR on the agenda, is there any objection? Seeing no objection, motion carries. Are there any other motions? Majority Leader, Senator Shelton, you are recognized.
Sedulous Masi, Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move to waive legislative session agenda items 15, which is the legislative concurrence, and 16, the consent calendar.
Is there any objection to waiving those items? Seeing no objection, motion carries. Thank you, Majority Leader. We're now on the second reading. Both of these bills are appropriation bills, so we will resolve into the Committee of the Whole, chaired by our Appropriations Chair, Senator Joseph Agustin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My colleagues, please have a seat. The Committee of the Whole is called to order. Materials for the committee are shared in the Google Drive if you can access it. It's in reference to Bill 127-37 COR and 128-37. Proposed amendments must be submitted in writing to the clerks via email. Session drive at guamlegislature.org. If not, my colleagues, if you have an amendment, you were advised to print it, bring it, so we can share it. Okay, but make sure you get it into the drive. Rules of engagement. On the first round, we're going to have Mayor Alec speak. 1 round. For Mayor Alec, it'll be 1 round. After he's done speaking, he will leave because he has his constituents, and we have constituents also, but he has to take care of some business. Then we will continue on with everybody else with 3 rounds. 2 rounds of questions for the panel, with each center allotted 5 minutes for questions and including responses. Time to speak may not be yielded from more than 1 member to another. A member who used the member's time on a question used all the member's time on that question and may not later speak, even if all the time was not used. At the completion of 2 rounds of questions, panelists will be excused. 3rd round for amendments or comments to speak on the bill. After complete discussion on the bill, I will allow the sponsor to close and will entertain a motion for recommendation of the Committee of the Whole, followed by a motion to rise from the Committee of the Whole, at which time I will report out the bill as recommended by the Committee of the Whole. With that,
Mr. Chair.
we will just...
Mr. Chair, I have a point
Madam
of
Vice?
information based on the rules of engagement. Manana Caesars, can I inquire, please? Did you say that we're going 1 round for Mayor Alec as the president of the Mayor's Council?
And that's it.
And that's it.
And he
then
leaves.
when he leaves, the whole panel up here, we're going to go 1 round, and then the 2nd round we're going to do amendments?
No.
Or we're going to do 2 rounds again?
We're only the mayor gets 1 round. Everybody else, when we start with everybody else, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 2 for questions and for the panel, and then 3rd round for amendments. I don't believe we're going to be here that long. I would hope my colleagues minimize your questions, okay? But we will stick to 5. 5 minutes only. Okay? Thank you, Madam Vice. Yes, Madam Speaker, you had a question?
Yes, I would just, we're also expecting the representative from FEMA to be here this afternoon around 3:30, I understand. He's arriving at the Naval Hospital.
At 3:30, we'll have him.
So at 3:30, I'd like to hear from him as well, by himself, of course.
Yes.
And, but I'm also suggesting we just separate the finance discussions so that we can have a round of just that with Lester and the Director of Homeland Security or the Governor's Office and all of those people. And we get these first responders out as fast as possible.
So if anything, then I'll ask Lester, he can be excused this morning then, and let's finish just everyone else. And then we'll ask him to return this afternoon when FEMA shows up. All right, Lester?
Or prior. Well, we can talk to him prior. Yes.
Okay, we can talk to him prior,
Yeah, thank you.
before you leave. Okay?
No, I mean, yeah. Can we just say 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock, we'll do
o'clock.
the finance part,
Right, okay,
the procurement and finance.
yes.
Thank you.
Not yet, hold on. Senator Tello?
Mr. Chair, because of that situation, FEMA plays a very critical role in some of the amendments that we were going to make. So I'm hoping that you allow us to provide those amendments after we speak to FEMA and not prior to.
Well, I understand they play a major role. I would really hope that your staff is on it to prepare those amendments while we're in discussion. Because after you ask your question, we should be ready to roll. Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Okay, yes, Senator Barnett.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. I just, if before you release anybody, I did have a very pressing issue, and I'm not sure how germane it is, but there are many government employees who haven't received their paycheck, and they haven't got any information. So I don't know if Mr. Lester or Senator Rangel can comment or provide any information on that, because I know there are a lot of employees watching, and I've heard Department of Agriculture, Judiciary, also the Guam Department of Education. So is there any information that we can provide on the status of the pay?
Thank you, Senator Barnett. The latest update that we got from DOA was Bank of Guam has made sure that the employees that bank with them receive their checks. I personally got mine the 26th, a couple days late, but I got it on the 26th. We're just having issues with pretty much everybody else. I think Coast is probably closer next.
Senator, let me have the panel swear in first,
Sure.
and then you'll give that question.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you,
Just
Mr. Chair.
real quick. Sergeant Arms, I'd ask the panel to please rise. Panel, please rise, so we can swear you all in.
Please raise your right hand. Under penalty of perjury, do you all affirm that any and all information you provide today, whether it be verbally, electronically, and in writing, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Mr. Chair, you're under oath. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carlson, if you can please go ahead and continue on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as I was asking, there are many government employees ranging from agencies like the Guam Department of Education, Department of Agriculture, Judiciary of Guam, who are, we're getting just mixed messages, Mr. Carlson. Some have the money reflected in their account and they're not able to access the funds. Some have just not received anything, but mostly everyone has not received any information about this issue. So if there's any light you can shed on the status of the paychecks that these employees were supposed to receive last week, please. Thank you.
Again, thank you, Senator Barnett. Bank of Guam folks, like myself, I received my pay on the 26th. There are still issues with the other banking institutions. I understand Coast is closer to being able to resolve their issues. And DOA is working diligently. We actually tried to run payroll early. My staff went up Monday last week just to ensure that physically the timesheets were delivered. Everybody else was similarly prompt in doing it to try to get the pay before the storm. Unfortunately, things happen, as we all know. You know, it's been a digital catastrophe. It'll be soon. We're trying really hard.
Can you provide, Senator?
Yes, I can speak to this a little bit. I know DOA processed payroll prior to the storm. That was a priority for us to work on getting payroll out prior to the storm. My understanding is DOA was informed they met the deadline for processing everything with the banks, but I think it was just right at that line where even though they got everything in, the storm hit. The banks had problems with communications amongst each other, and like Mr. Carlson was saying, a digital nightmare. Systems went down, systems weren't talking to each other, so it's stuck somewhere in that digital realm, so to speak, between the banking systems, and I don't really understand how all these banking systems work, but it's somewhere stuck in that area.
Senator, if you could provide it, is there going to be any commitment to a follow-up on this issue? Because as we speak, I'm just getting overwhelmed with messages from government employees who can't access their funds.
Absolutely, as am I. I'm getting texts from everyone saying, where's the money, where's their paycheck? So we are following up daily to see what we can do to ensure that people get their paychecks.
All right.
Any estimates? Sorry, Mr. Chair.
No estimates at this time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Burnett. My colleagues, now, generally, what's going to happen is the mayor is going to be first. He's going to make his spill. I can't see why you need questions from him, but Madam
Introduce the
Speaker.
bill. I'd like to introduce the bill.
Okay, because now the bill can give you this. All right, Madam Speaker, bill
Thank-
number 127-37, you can go ahead and give your opening on your bill.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. The bill's self-explanatory, hopefully. But it stems from discussions with the governor prior to the storm, asking her, because we were concerned of the size of the storm and its track, exactly what does she need to ensure that we're going to be able to recover. And this is her only request to us as the legislature was transfer authority from existing appropriations. And so we know that in our budget act, based on our total appropriations, she has approximately 50 million in transfer authority already. This is to authorize another 50 million in transfer authority. The theory is that with this transfer authority, she will be able to respond quicker by depositing the money in the account in order to certify the funds and issue the purchase orders. So I hope that that theory is going to pan out, that it's going to make things quicker. I think, as we know, by law, the governor's already authorized $250,000 emergency expenditures right off the bat upon declaration of emergency. So that should all have been available already. And because of her existing transfer authority, that should also have been available already. So this is in addition to that. But I know that I speak on behalf of my colleagues when I say that we are all trying to do whatever will make things faster, our response faster. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'm looking forward to the reports from all of these first responding agencies as to what their needs are and whether it's money that's going to really solve those needs. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And on that same note, Bill 128-37 will be withdrawn as communication I've been made already with the administration. Thank you. Did you have a question? Because we want to start the panel.
Yes, just one clarification, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this bill, if I heard correctly, and the generator is on, so I may not have heard, but the governor has a transfer authority of 50 million, and this is an additional 50 million, so we're looking at 100 million. Did I hear that correctly?
No. Madam Speaker, Senator Lawton is asking you to the question, does this bill give the governor additional 50? And I don't see it as such. Maybe you can explain your bill?
Yes, this is authorizing, in addition to what was already authorized in statute, was the 250,000. That's the 5 GCA 22402. It says it right here. And in addition to what was authorized in Public Law 36-107, which is our budget law, which OFB approximates to be 50 million in transfer authority, this is another 50 million in transfer authority.
Okay,
yes.
so this is 100 million then total.
No, this bill is 50 million.
This bill is 50 million
correct.
in addition to her already 50 million transfer authority.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Now we will begin, colleagues. We will begin with Mayor Alec. Sir.
I just have to say that I did not come here fully prepared to speak to you with a prepared speech. And I'm going to get emotional again. But what a shame. What a shame that we have money. And this is what our people are doing, are feeling right now and are suffering. What a shame. What a shame that they don't have water. What a shame that they don't have aid. What a shame that FEMA is on Guam. And only today we're going to get water for the people. You have Manamco come to your office and ask you for water, Satman Ma'u, and they don't even live in PT. What do? I give them the case of water that I bought out of my pocket for my staff, and every other mayor does the same. And on the 6th day of recovery, we're going to get water from FEMA. The late, great speaker Antonio Ampico said what? Something like, plenty talk, plenty mistake. Well, guess what? Too much talk. Too much talk here. Too much talk at Adelup. Too much talk. The policy-making body and the executive branch, too much talk, no execution. Who's going to execute? Us, the mayors. And then what do? Kill us. You don't need employees. You don't need money. Don't give me money. Senators, you're calling me. How much money do you need? I cannot use your money. I cannot use your money because I don't have enough procurement people to do the job correctly to use the money. And I'm telling you now, we need money, but don't give it to the Mayor's Council of Guam because we can't handle it. But if this is an emergency, then let's make it an emergency and procure what we need today, not 6 days later. Heavy equipment, senators, heavy equipment that we need to clear the roads. Oh, everybody's working. Everybody's working, long hours. But while you guys were sleeping, we were worrying about our neighbor and everybody else who doesn't have a roof, and everybody else who doesn't have water, everybody else who doesn't have ice for their insulin. Did we think about the insulin? 20 years ago, we didn't have that many diabetics. 20 years ago, we didn't need all the dialysis centers. But pura planning, plenty talk. Plenty talk. Right now, plenty mistake. Because we, the people of Guam, are suffering. $50 million, Speaker, that's great. But it's so sad that we have money and we're not using it. It's so sad that we're so smart up here. Everybody here is so smart. But yet, we cannot even get gas to operate our bush cutters and to operate our trucks. I'll tell you right now, before I came here, you know what the chief of police told me? That I have to wait in line for gas. Yet, when the tree goes down, don't call DPW because they're only Route 1. What about the tree that Mr. Cruz cannot pass because it's on Assumption Drive? Oh, don't call DPW because that's not Route 1. That's secondary. Call the mayor. But yet, you cannot gas the mayor because that mayor's not essential. GPD, yeah, everybody's essential. But the problem is there's a plan, senators. Where's the plan? How come we cannot execute the plan? And then who has to pick up the slack? The mayors. Did you guys ask the mayors for their receipts, how much they're spending on the food to feed the volunteers that come to help them? I'll have my receipts for you. And you guys talk about how much we're paid. Oh, plenty, $75,000, plenty money. But nobody ever asks, how much do you spend for your people? Nobody ever asked me, how much do I spend for the person in Inalahan, or the first person in Talafulfo that heard me on the radio and said, I'll help you. We're all politicians. We are all politicians. But we all serve the same people. And it is a disservice to our people because we are not serving them. Yes, we're not here to bicker. And yes, we're not here to be finding out who's the greatest. But the problem is, if there's money, why in heaven's name are we not using it? 6 days after the storm, I'm going to tell you now, senators, everybody up here, they're going to tell you plenty purchase orders. I will tell you right now, I have not seen one heavy equipment purchase order on my desk that is addressed to me for emergency use. $41,000 out of Operation ARPA money to the PD Mayor's office has been used from my account to pay for heavy equipment to clear my village. Guess what? That's your job, Mayor. Do it. But it's an emergency. $50 million? You want $50 million and you cannot give me $41,000 to clear? You want $50 million? I don't even have $1 million. You know what, the 90 mayors, Zigu, Dededo, Mangilao, and Hagat, they're getting their heavy equipment today. Hopefully today, from emergency funds. $30,000 per PO. Imagine that, $30,000 per PO. I had a breakdown to share with you guys, but I can't even look at my phone. Just estimate, it's about $125 an hour per equipment. Estimated, don't look at the details, estimated, I said, and you need 6 trucks per day. Oh, and we don't work 8 to 5. I didn't just get ready to come here. We work sun up to sundown. And the heavy equipment, they don't leave until we're ready to go. So you're worried about how long you're staying? What about our staff? You want 22%? They deserve 100% a raise. Because you don't know what they do out there. But let me tell you, the people of PT, I love them because they appreciate our people. Because I've given out the water, they have given me water for our people. Because I've given all the ice for the insulin-dependent patients out there, they have given us ice. But did anybody think about that? No, because too smart up there. Everywhere's too smart. Manmudoro mayors. But yet, who do they go to in the end? Check the mayor. Did you guys think about the insulin-dependent people? Did you think about the dialysis centers? Oh, wait. Communications, senators. Cell phone was down. Oh, I wish I could say bad words. I got in my car, and I went to all the dialysis centers to find out, are you open? For people that don't even live in PT. So that I can verify, so that the manamko that has to go drive from Meleso all the way to Isaganya doesn't have to waste their gas, because guess what? There's no gas shortage, but you have to wait 6 hours. Plenty talk, plenty mistake. Oversight us all you want. I'm asking for help. I'm here because I know that all of you here want to call me, and all of you want to throw the money to us. Don't throw the money to the Mayor's Council of Guam. Give us the service that we need. Give us the equipment that we need, because we cannot use your money. You're going to look at our budget and you're going to say, Hafa, you guys are asking for more money, but you cannot spend your money. You still have 5 million. Everyone has to say, oh, you big balance. Big balance, but I keep on asking, lift the cap for recycling revolving so we can pick up all the trash. $50,000 cap, $75,000. Well, guess what? Guess what? I'm telling you now, $41,000 in PT just for green waste. And we're not even almost done. Nimitz Hill Estates, you drive to Nimitz Hill Estates. It's still like trash. My people will not live like pigs because of this government's ineptness. And nobody, no Chamorro, no Guamanian deserves to live like this. And if you want to work for the people, by golly, do your job, work. And we don't work just 8 to 5 like I told you. So let's all get together and do something. There's so much more to talk about, but we can go on and on. The problem is I don't have your answer. Because like you, I'm waiting for the heavy equipment. Like you, I'm waiting for the chainsaw. Chainsaw! But here, hold on. Hafa, you're the mayor's office, you don't have chainsaw? Are you, bad word, kidding me? How many trees do you see out there? One? I don't know what to say. I didn't come here to cry. But honestly, I called a friend because I had to cry this morning. I had to cry because I don't ever want to make enemies with anybody. But if our people are crying, we shouldn't be here. We should be out there helping them. And that's why I asked to go first, so I can go back to help my people. That's the problem. Oh, meeting, plenty meeting. Meet. Oh, I'll let you know, senators, before the pre-storm, there was a handful of us that met with the governor, GWA included. And the governor asked GWA, are you ready? And the governor had questions for GWA. So I'm backing the governor on that. GWA said, ready to go. Typhoon Condition 1, I was out of service, thank God, so I don't have to hear all of everybody's craziness on the government side, because obviously we know we're crazy. Condition 4, no water. Now what? Jesse Alex crazy. You know why? Because Jesse Alex reaching out to CCU members, and guess what? Everybody has an answer, and everybody's answer is right, except for Jesse Alex. I don't care what the problem is. I care that water is essential to life. I care that water should have been their priority. I care that they lied to us, that GWA lied to the governor, that GWA lied to us, the people of Guam, because that water wasn't on. And they're going to tell you, someone here is going to tell you, oh, no, we had it. Here's the problem. No, there's no problem. Because pre-storm, condition 4, they were ready. Parqueo, powers and everything else. But water, that's the problem. And then they issue the boil very fast, the jig release. You guys know the jig releases. Plenty jig release, plenty time for jig release. Don't boil the water, or boil the water. Boil the water, but you don't even give us water to boil. The other day, don't burn. Don't burn? Where are they going to put the trash? You know what I told my people? Burn it. I still tell them to burn it. You know why? Because we've burned all our lives. My grandfather, after high school, I had to burn every day. I know how to burn. And if it's burning up, guess what? The neighbor's going to help put out the fire. And all you smart people that know about the embers and everything, oh my gosh, go to bad work. Our Chamorro people, Timan Mudoruham. Hamzu, not specifically you. Someone other than me and someone other than them. It's just a little bit crazy to think that we can't handle this. I don't want to leave here because I just want to tell you everything. But me yelling at you right here is not going to solve anything. All I'm going to tell you, the state of affairs, if I could stand up here and give you a state of the island, nobody's going to clap for me out there. They're not going to give me a lay. We won't even have dinner afterwards. You know why? Because we're in here, in the cold, cool air, while our people have no water, have no air conditioning, have no refrigerator to put their insulin, and have to fight for an appointment for dialysis. But guess what? We're ready, Guam. This is not the pandemic. We didn't know how to traverse the pandemic. This is a typhoon. We are pros at typhoon. Whether you're Chamorro, whether you're Gomanian, you're a pro at typhoon. So everything up here that they're going to tell you, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, senators, because I don't want their money. And I don't want to hear their plan, because guess what? They're late. 6 days after the storm, and you don't have a plan, you're late. DPW's hard at work. We don't say no day. Oh, I took a picture of the DPW truck that came by PT yesterday, strolling by. Goodbye, Joe, gotta go. That's my line. Didn't even stop. You don't have to know that I'm the mayor, but at least wave. Nothing. Survey, assess. Why? FEMA. Ladies and gentlemen, regulations. I am okay with regulations. I am okay with it. I want the sites to be regulated. That's another thing. EPA, you should oversight EPA. Pre-storm, EPA. Oh, mayors, where's your Greenway site? They want to yell at us because we're Mudoro again. 19 village sites. Imagine that. When did you hear about the staging site? Just yesterday, right? 5 days after the storm, you're going to tell the people of Guam where to put their greenways? Oh my gosh. Guess what? The people of Guam are not stupid. They already know where to put the greenways. But guess what? It's not FEMA reimbursable because it's not EPA approved. Well, what the heck were you doing? Sleeping? Again, it's not about the money. Do your job. If you were planning, well, execute the plan. So yes, EPA. Why, instead of sleeping, you should have gone to the 6 other sites and say, hey, Mayor, before the storm ends, can you please make sure you get this ABC done so that you can get approved and you get FEMA reimbursed? Loahi? No, not a darn thing. You wait until it hits the fan. Well, guess what? It hit the fan. I already said, send all of the notice of violations to me. Send it to me. And I did. I told the director, and I put in our emergency group, send me the notice of violation. Send it to me. Take the time to send me the notice of violation, because I'm going to take it to two people. One, the governor of Guam, and my attorney. To heck with all of that. Why are you going to penalize us and the people of Guam for your ineptness? You should have been the regulatory agency. You should have gone out there. Yet it's our fault. We're the dumb ones. We're the overpaid people. $75,000. I don't know who makes $75,000 a year that works 11-hour days. That works. Don't claim to work. That works. Staging sites. But guess what, senators? Did you know that you only have green waste staging sites? You don't have a metal site. You don't have a wood site. How many people lost their homes? Where are they going to put their trash? I'll tell you what. Condition 1. 2 p.m. I have a meeting. We still don't know what the trash situation is. We're going to wait until the following day to meet. Imagine that. We're going to wait till the following day. Well, in their wisdom, somebody decides to have a 7 p.m. meeting. So 7 p.m. we're already condition 4. Just condition 4 at 5 p.m. that day. 2 hours, almost 2 hours to listen to how smart everybody is. Guess what? Everybody's so smart, still no plan. So they said, oh, Mayor, don't dump. Don't dump? You're going to wait and don't dump? To heck with all of that crap. We're going to dump. But let me ask you, senators, where's the metal going to go? Where's the lumber debris going to go? We don't know. But guess what? If there was a plan, we don't know the plan. So if you know, can you call me so I can tell the mayors? But better yet, can you let me know so I can tell our people? It goes back to our people. They need to know what they're going to do with their debris. I had a resident come yesterday. His entire tin roof flew. I told him, I said, tie it to your truck, and I'm going to help you drag it to Marine Corps Drive. And if we can, we'll take it to San Vittoris, because for sure they're going to get rid of it. And if you saw the note that I put, that I signed with my full name, Jesse L.G. Allig, I did that. Because it's a notice to the people to dump. Where am I going to put my trash? Because we didn't know. 5 days after the storm, where am I going to put my tin that flew? Where am I going to put the lumber that broke? Where am I going to put my recyclables? Oh, don't tell me that the mayors have recycling revolving fund money. That is beside the point. This is an emergency. Where am I going to put my trash? I don't know. I have absolutely no answer for them. And so my answer, I don't have a doctorate, by the way. My answer is to put it on Route 1 because DPW will pick it up, and pick it up on San Vittoris Road because tourism is our industry, and they're going to pick it up. And by the way, maybe somebody should clean up Tumon, because if we want people to come back, I sure as heck don't want to go to a pig pen, because I don't live in a pig pen. I'm going to miss something, so hold on. Please. Food. Food. FEMA food. Have you been to a store lately? Because they're closed. We don't know why they're closed. And why are we going to penalize the government? I mean, the private business. I'm a business owner too. Don't tell me what to do. If I don't want to open, I'm not going to open. But we're the government of Guam. We're here for our people. We have FEMA on Guam. Are we going to give our people food? Guess what? I asked for food from TFAP before the storm because, I don't have a doctorate. So I have a supply of food that I gave to the people whose homes blew away. And I was able to buy butane. We all know what those butane stoves look like. But what about Mayor Tavares and Mayor Sanchez and Mayor Ungacta and Mayor Luis and Mayor Susuico, who have hundreds of displaced families? They cannot afford to buy everyone a butane stove and butane. They can't afford to buy everyone a case of water. So yes, I can say that we're going to be okay. We're going to survive. But shame on us for making our people suffer. We created our own storm. We created a worse storm than Agustin, Mawar. Mawar was nothing compared to what we're going through right now. Shame on us. And who gets the brunt of all this? We do. All the ones, all of us, the mayors who are not priority in this government of Guam, no problem. The mayors who get chastised for every little thing, no problem. But I'm telling you now, as you consider the Mayor's Council of Guam, and as I'm still the president, you help me consider, because we cannot run the Mayor's Council of Guam the way it should properly be run. I want to be accountable. I want to take all the money that is available for all the villages, and I want to be able to report that. And I have tried my darndest since the last 2.5 years that I've been president to make sure that we are accountable. If you take a look at our website and you see who's reporting their financials, we are doing it more and more in the last 2.5 years. And I'm telling you this because I'm asking for your support for the mayors. And it does not have to be financial. If it's service or if it's product-wise, equipment-wise, please give it to us, but please communicate with us as well. Because you guys see the numbers on the black and white, on the paper, on the pages that you read. Ladies and gentlemen, we see the faces and the hearts. And I want to be able to connect you to those faces and to those hearts. Because right now, big disconnect. Huge. I'm sorry, but our people are suffering. And this $50 million, who cares about $50 million? It's day 6 of recovery. Day 6 of recovery. And we still got to boil our water. But yet we still haven't given our people water to drink and no food to eat. Shame on you. If my grandmother was alive, I would get spanked for not feeding my neighbor. But how am I going to feed my neighbor when I don't even have food to share? Thank God for businesses like Fisheye who are feeding my guys and volunteers and village volunteers. Because all the government employees are sitting pretty at home earning a paycheck because they're not essential. But I get community volunteers to help me clean the village. So thank you to businesses like Fisheye who provide lunches to our staff and volunteers every day. That's the Chamorro spirit. Everybody likes to talk about inafat maulik. I think we need to stop using the word until we really understand the meaning of inafat maulik. It's long enough, I think. I think you get my gist. I'm just asking for help. Again, you'll know that the 4 villages will have heavy equipment today. Everybody else, you either use their own money, whether it's ARPA or operations. And of course, we're being warned that you can't reimburse ARPA. Are you kidding me? Who cares? Who cares that we can't reimburse ARPA? My people deserve better than an excuse that we can't reimburse ARPA. But the problem, ladies and gentlemen, is we had to use village funds for village improvement because we are slow. Emergency operations, practically none. Did you guys know that it went down? EOC went down? Check that out. We couldn't call our response activity coordinators because no generator? What? No generator? You guys were praying the Tatan Mommy earlier? Malignant Para, you need to go next door and say the whole mass. Thank you. I thank you for listening to me. I thank the people that can listen to me.
Madam Speaker, do you have any questions? We're going to do one round.
I have no
Someone-
questions, but I want to thank the mayor, of course, for agreeing to come in this morning despite being very, very busy. And I really just wanted to begin with him. And so I'm very glad that he was willing to do that, to share on behalf of all the mayors and the people of Guam the frustration and the very justified anger. Because I totally agree with you, Mayor. They don't deserve to live like that. And we know much better than that. So, Situs Masi, and I understand money cannot be the problem at this point. I totally understand that. But we're going to do whatever the governor says she needs from us in order to make a quicker response. I'm going to do that. But I agree, and that's why we've invited the rest of this panel here, because we want to find out why everything is so slow. My apologies to you and the people of PD and the people all over Guam and to all the mayors. Situs Masi.
Thank you. Senator Burnett?
I just want to thank you again, Mayor, and all the village mayors for the hard work you guys have been. And I think after that FEMA meeting yesterday, there was a couple quotes from the governor and lieutenant governor, and I believe they both said that the mayors were going to be leading the recovery efforts. So I understand the enormous pressure that all the mayors are under. I don't know if you knew you were going to be leading the recovery effort.
Leading the recovery effort?
That was in the release from Adelup that, yeah, they want to give you the support.
Where's
to
the
lead.
Emergency Operations Center?
Right. Yeah, no, and I feel you. I don't have any questions. I got to give you the support and the thank you on behalf of the people of Guam.
That's why I wasn't there, Senator.
Yeah. No, and I totally understand. I mean, you have really burst the bubble. You know, we haven't had much communications in the last 6 days, and your interview that you did with the media yesterday, to me, really showed people what is really going on. We've just had a lack of communication, lack of information, a lot of misinformation that's coming from, sadly, the government. People are relying on our government to lead them through this recovery, and they can't even get the right information. They're on a wild gas chase. They say, go to this gas station and wait. That gas station's not even open. And these are releases that are coming from the Joint Information Center, the very people who are supposed to provide our people with the information that they need. And when you come in here and you won't go on this tirade, I know it's justified because you have seen other typhoon recoveries. You have been involved and worked hard in other typhoon recoveries. And you're right, this is not a pandemic. But in the pandemic, the people of Guam did what they had to do to get through it. This is a different animal. This is a different beast. You're right, it's not a strange beast. It's a beast that we're familiar with, that we know how to navigate, or we should know how to navigate. There's more urgency now than there ever was in the pandemic. You're right, our people are going without. You know, we're very lucky to have running water at the house, but people don't even have that. There was miscommunication with where to get water. Some people still don't know where to get water. You're right, they don't know where to get ice for their insulin. But when we talk about execution of recovery, the executive branch has failed to execute this recovery in an effective and timely manner that benefits the health and safety of the people of Guam. And you're right, we have created another storm after the real storm, a storm that's unnecessary, that we don't need to be putting our people through all these things. Their mental health is already so thin, they're already weak, they're going through so many, they haven't been through a storm like this. And when our government fails to act accordingly, to act in a way that we're familiar with, it just makes people crazy. It makes people crazy. And we're trying to do our part. You're right, money has never been an issue, not just today, but over the last few years, money has never been an issue because we've been the lucky and blessed recipients of all this federal funds. Yet, when you take a look around, even before this storm hit, it's like we were already ravished by a storm of drugs and crime and education issues. But today, the funds are spilling out all over. And we're trying to do our part to say, here, take $50 million. Take it. Do what you're going to do for the people. But when we find out from you that 50 million, 50 billion, 50 trillion is not the issue, it's an execution problem. And who executes in this government? the executive branch. And so it's gotten so bad that we're now here, you're right, 6 days later, because we hear the people crying, and we have to do something. So that's what we're here to do. But had this recovery gone as smooth as we've seen other recoveries go, maybe we wouldn't have to be here. Maybe we could be home macheteing the tree or delivering water. But sadly, we're here, and we're going to work through it, Mayor. And if you say money is not the issue and execution is the issue, then we're going to find a way to help them execute better. Because I don't like seeing you get more gray hairs. Thank you again, Mayor, for your service.
Thank you, Senator Burnett. Senator Chris.
Just Monty, Mr. Chairman, and I have no questions. I don't want to waste the mayor's time, but I want to thank you for being here and sharing with us. I know that I've dedicated my chief of staff and others to assist the mayors. We've been doing everything that we can. We have nothing to do in our office right now, so we got to help the people directly, and we're doing everything we can to assist you. Mayor, it's absurd to even consider the fact that Mayor's Council of Guam will lead this recovery effort. You made it clear. Those lines are drawn, and I want to join you in saying that that statement just is misplaced. In closing, Mayor, I just want to say that you've obviously put it on the record here and made it clear, and I have a couple of other mayors on different village chats as well. This has been the resounding theme. It is not an issue of the current money situation. It's an issue of getting the money, getting the purchase orders, getting the equipment to be able to do it, because all the villages are suffering the same situation with trees in driveways, not able to get out, word of emergency vehicles, all the things that are going on. So you're right. We just need to get out there and get the job done and get the money flowing to you that's already there available, get those purchase orders and get everything moving. So Mayor, thank you for bringing this to light. It's very important, and you've been, a great voice on this, and so we'll see how we take the rest of this, but God bless you, and we'll continue to direct every resource that we have in our office towards your way. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Bloss.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mayor Alec, thank you very much. Okay, I know that we could have given you, another 2 days, you'd still be talking on this thing, but for good cause. All right, for good cause. Shame on us. You're right. Okay, 6 days into this, and just on the 5th day, you're going to tell this administration is going to tell the Mayor's Council that they're leading the recovery efforts? Are you freaking serious? How many typhoons have we gone through already on this island? How many times have we had to practice this response? And all of a sudden, after all of this, we're going to tell them on the 5th day that they're going to be leading the response? I'm sitting here livid because I know there's a plan. Because when I took over, 20 years ago, was it 20 years ago? I didn't create it, I amended the plan. And it was amended again and again. And now to say that there wasn't a plan? You're right, Mr. Mayor, this is not about the money. The money exists. It's about the plan. It's ridiculous. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Senator Lujan, do you have any comments?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your comments were definitely on point. I mean, quite a few chats. We also, on my chat, I have the Tamuning Mayor, so I know the challenges of our village as well. But thank you very much for bringing to light a lot of the realities of what the people of Guam are facing. But let me ask you, because we do have a FEMA warehouse here, and my understanding, Mr. Mayor, is that we have here on Guam currently 1.1 million units of water in a FEMA warehouse here. Also alongside that, 909,000 MREs in a FEMA warehouse here on Guam. and that all it takes is for Guam Homeland Security to request that from FEMA for it to be released. Has it been released? Have you guys been contacted for such a situation, for those waters and food to be released to the people of Guam?
So the water is being released today.
Today? 6 days after?
Before I came here, I received a phone call from our FEMA representative for PT saying that our water will be delivered today.
For the FEMA water?
Correct.
How about the MREs, Mr. Mayor?
None.
There are 909,000 MREs in that same warehouse.
So Senator, I do know that somebody is working on food, but we have no word yet on when, where.
So you haven't been contacted, the village mayors haven't been contacted on the emergency food, the MREs that are ready, meals ready to eat for the people of Guam who are starving and lining up for food and water and gasoline?
Senator, if I may,
Yes.
And for all the senators, if this water and the food come out to the mayors, we also have to think further, and we've been saying this. If you want us to take this water and food to deliver to the people, tell us what you want to do first. Deliver the water and the food or clean up? Because we only have 5, and some of you want to take away 3. And if I understand, that leaves us 2. And so, I'm saying that throughout budget talks, we were talking about mayor's offices have 5 maintenance. We want to take 3, so you want to leave us with 2 maintenance. And so if our 2 maintenance, imagine, we still have to distribute the water and the food. So what I'm saying is, yes, we'll take it and we can use our offices as distribution sites, but you have to remember, they're not going to leave their house. So that's gas. So, and maybe I failed to tell you that in all those meetings, pre-storm and after the storm, military. Let's go back, I'm sorry. The military has always been at that table. And the military has said this: tell us what you need. We will get it to you. I was shocked. I had never seen that ever. Tell us what you need, equipment-wise, manpower-wise, and they will be deployed. People on this panel were in that meeting. How much have we requested from the military? There's no generator in our offices to operate a small refrigerator for the insulin. Again, I'm just bringing that up because it's a problem. Look at the water. Maybe those servicemen could have picked up the water and distributed the water. What about the heavy equipment? Did we have to spend PD money for heavy equipment? Couldn't the heavy equipment come from Hawaii? Isn't there a ship coming? Couldn't the heavy equipment come from the ship? The problem is, it's there. The resources are there. Did we ask? And if we ask, where are they? Because we don't see anything. So, Senator Lujan, it's there. We know it's there. And the water is going out to the villages. But let me tell you, we are all spread thin. And if we have to wait in line with everybody else to get gas, makpu'i nubena, or makpu'i gera, more like, because the war will certainly be over before we get gas. I'm not saying that we are privileged, but as part of your emergency operations plan, if you're going to rely on the mayors, you better ensure that the mayors are supported. Meaning, if they need fuel, get them the fuel. If you need a receipt, get the receipt. I'm not a doctor, and you don't need to. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to add to what the mayor is saying, because this is the urgency of this situation. And yesterday, the day before yesterday, I got a call, and why the heck are you calling me? The airport folks there, I think it's iFly, a Denmark plane that brought in the 100 FEMA workers. Well, their crew had no rooms. They couldn't get a hold of anybody in Adelup to be able to house them. They had called me. I called former Governor Carl Gutierrez. Look, hey, what's going on? We have folks that have flown out here, and they don't have a room. They can't be housed anywhere. Within 15 minutes, you got 15 rooms for the crew, the pilot, and the flight attendants that flew the crew in here. 10 minutes after that, I got another call that an emergency, the U.S. Coast Guard plane that had flown out here, its engine had broken down. Their crew needed rooms as well. I got another call. 5 minutes later, again, 7 rooms were found through Governor Gutierrez for these folks. 15 minutes after that, that same 100 FEMA workers that came out here were without rooms. They could not get a hold of anybody in the administration for the housing of those people. You call Governor Gutierrez, because the conversation, the night before, that conversation, he and I were having for over 3 hours regarding this situation. That is how cruel and how badly coordinated this whole recovery effort has been. Who the hell am I? You're calling me to try to get your rooms. And my question is, why aren't you tapping on resources you have right now who have been through these storms, who have been through these situations, and crews are being done, crews are out there getting work done, getting things done, servicing the people of Guam. That being said, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, very much for the work you do, and all the mayors on Guam. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator Brown, do you have any comments? I don't know if anyone has any questions, but comments, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm smiling because, you know, to have the happiest mayor on Guam come down here this morning and relay his frustrations to us is very painful. Mayor, we know what it takes to run typhoons. And I have run 3 key agencies in the government of Guam that have had to respond to typhoons. EPA should have already had designated sites. Those plans should already be in place and pre-approved. This is not rocket science, and you're right, this is not the pandemic. We knew how to do typhoons. I haven't even had a chance to exchange notes with Senator Frank because we're sitting here going, you know, this is a WTF moment. And everybody who's in a key position of operation that feels the lashing this morning should feel it. If I was in a position to do it, Mayor, we would have already been out there. I agree with you. The response has been incredibly slow. It is 6 days later. You were mentioning yesterday in your comment, I thought you didn't have anything more to add than what we saw in your message yesterday. Was it 4 or 5 days? You didn't even remember. It is 6 days. Those things should have been in place. The response should have been there as soon as the typhoon left us Thursday. They should have been out there. And I did relay to Governor Gutierrez yesterday evening. They should have had you, use your expertise. I can't believe I'm saying this because politically we've always been on opposite ends of the world. But use the resources of people that have, at least he knows how to operate a backhoe. He does. But this is inexcusable. I mean, the administration, the lashing you're hearing this morning, you should take it. But this is, these are the agents of change. The highest paid administration of directors in the history of the government of Guam. This is performance when it matters, and it's not happening. I've been there with you, Mayor. I mean, if I had been on your side of the aisle, we'd be out there right now. But we're not the ones in charge. We're not the ones with the authority to respond. And trust me, I'm in the air conditioning now. I'm going to go home to the house that doesn't have the aircon, that doesn't have the power, to help my elderly mother that has a whole typhoon of trees around her house that she needs help with. I think we all recognize that. We're not removed from the realities. And I have to tell you, I'm even disappointed the governor didn't call you and offer you to priority, go get your gas at the designated Shell station. Was it Shell station? The other day, we got a message from the speaker that the governor notified us that if we needed to go get our car's gas, we could go there. Of course, I'm not going to accept that because I've seen the mile lines long of our people, and I'm not going to get in a line ahead of them because somehow I'm more important because I have a title. I'm sure no senator here that had any sense would even consider that or show their face to do that. And I'm surprised that that offer was not made to you because Speaker informed us that the offer came from the governor. Who here is going to deny my statement? Is it not factually true? It's here. It's right here. I can pull it back up. So I'm surprised that offer was not made to you and your workers to get what you need so that you can get the fuel to operate because the offer was made to us. I have to scroll back many messages here, but it's in the Senator chat.
May I respond?
Oh, Mayor, you can say anything
We
you
are.
want.
Mayors are first responders. But you have to line up.
And you shouldn't have to.
So we have to line up at the Shell across JFK, behind every other first responder, behind every other non-government plate. Oh, I should tell you that the rental cars, those are FEMA supposedly. FEMA? FEMA should come here with the gas. FEMA shouldn't be getting in the same line as essential personnel. And I did go to the front of the line yesterday, and I was told to go to the back of the line. Mayor Paco went to the front of the line this morning and was told to get to the back of the line.
I think it's very telling, Mr. Mayor. We know what to do and we know what needs to be done. Maybe you just don't have the right people there to do it right now, but we have responded to many. I was at Guam EPA when we had 2 major typhoons within 3 months and tropical storms in between. There were 6 altogether. And we operated on a single gas generator. And we don't know anything but bahaki clothes and not showering. But we did it. All the way down to dealing with graves down in Tokcha that were washed out to the ocean and remains to deal with. So we've been through this before. We've got this down. I can't answer, and maybe those are questions the administration needs to answer, why they've not been as responsive as they need. Because you're very right. The insulin issue, getting people the medical care, getting food, getting the most basic need of water should have been a priority, and I can't answer for that. If I was on the other side of the table, by all means, I better have an answer. But I appreciate, Mayor, you coming down and relaying the collective frustrations of our people because, like I said, you are the happiest, nicest, gracious person that I know in public office. And for you to come and express your frustration, we recognize it's deep. And we understand that. And I hope that if there's another go-around, that public officials who have assumed these positions love the title and love the money, love the sense of importance. But when the time comes down, something more than these flashy press releases, because that's not the reality. Senator Chris mentioned earlier that, we're not getting the information. We're not getting any more information than you are. I'm actually even relying on what Mayor Gogwe's sending to us. Now he's even telling us where we can go to get bottled water. So we're with you. You're not going to find any argument on our side of the aisle, Mayor, with the concerns that you're raising. And, GPA, GWA, those guys need to answer. The administration needs to answer. They're the arms and legs right now of the government of Guam to execute emergency response. We know what we need to do. This is not anything we haven't been through before. And for you to not know until 5 days later where we're going to put our greenways, those things should have all been pre-approved and designated. And why Guam EPA has fallen behind on that, then I don't know if they're even here to answer, but it's certainly questions that we will ask. But we appreciate it, Mayor. Appreciate all that you do for not just PD, but we know you've gone out of your way to help people in other villages as well. So thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Brown. Madam Vice, do you have any comments, questions?
Yes, I do, Mr. Chairman. Anasidus. To you, Mr. President, thank you, Mayor Alec, for being here and sharing your thoughts and concerns, your heartfelt thoughts and concerns, because we truly understand what you're going, at least for me personally. And if I didn't think the flooding in my house was bad enough, because I've got over 12 inches of water in my house, all I have to do is look at my sister Mars, whose house, part of her house roof blown away, and literally just trying to survive because the rain, even as of this morning, the rain and the thunder and the lightning were still at it. And yes, this is a bad typhoon. And yes, if there was one thing different, Mr. Mayor, and to everybody up there in that panel that's here this morning, if there were one thing that's different, that wasn't different in the past, was accessing phone service to everybody at the same time, because there's no service. I don't have service in Pago. My girlfriend doesn't have service in Dedido because her lines are down. Her roof is off. We were cleaning, fielding calls, the dialysis centers that we were trying to facilitate, I guess, from different angles, but doing it together and trying to get 4 dialysis centers up. Fielding crying veterans who's saying we can't even access the base to get gas. And I'm hearing you said that the military is saying, tell us what to do. Let our veterans in so that they can get access to the services that they have readily available. Because this, yesterday and the day before, how many Manamcos calling me pleading because they're veterans and they shouldn't be treated like gas. So yes, we're listening and we're trying. And I did say, if I had thought I had problems with the flooding, Senator Joseph Agustin and I are fielding buckets out just to try and see what we can salvage. But we're still working and helping. I'm moving tin from wrapped telephone poles and coconut trees. I don't want to blame anybody. Everybody that should be here, Guadalupe is here. I know they're trying. Do we need to recess and see how we can get access and communication to each other? Because that is a problem right now. The access is not there. Because I know some of the mayors got their equipment, Chigo and Barragana, and I know Chalampago, like Senator Brown said, has been sending us, the mayor of Chalampago is sending us information because he's got service, but I received it this morning because I'm here. This place in Agana has service for the phones. I know how you feel, and I want to say thank you to you and to all the mayors, to all the shelter workers who couldn't get gas. And I'm asking, how can they get gas? I really hope, Senator Rigel, I really hope that we did that because the questions went up to Guadalupe about the shelter workers who are doing 12-hour shifts. Because I was at Astumbo the other day, 12-hour shifts, and all they're asking is this, in order for us to come back to work, we need to gas our car. Because they're in the Jigo area, but because they work at a different school, they have to drive long. So I know nothing's far here in Guam, but honest, the access to gas was bad, and I know that everybody's trying. So if we need to recess, Mr. Chair, and see what access could be given again, and maybe even look at the root of the problem. I'm going to tell you right now, for all the veterans out there and the retirees who need the service, and if the military is saying that they're going to give, then let them give it now. Because they don't have it. 12 midnight, someone's crying saying, I haven't had dialysis all week, and they told me, they turned me away because there's no water and no gas, I guess, to run the facility. But I did get a response from the governor, and she did say that they're continuing to try. So if we need to regroup with DPW, we need to regroup with Guadalupe, if we need to regroup with Public Health, EPA, and all that, then let's regroup now and saying, top this off as a communication gap. Mr. Chair, we're all trying. And if I think I have problems, I don't have problems when I know that my sister next door's roof is off. My sister in Talafofu said there was Talafofu Falls in her house. Her whole office is, the ceiling caved on her desk. And she said to me, T, we're still alive, and I'm not going to bother you because I know you're fielding calls. I said, and I'm trying to respond, so I'm standing, going to places just to see how I can get service to do the responding. So, Mr. Chair, please, no, I don't know. Maybe we should take this 5-minute break, recess, just to see what's happening right now. Or maybe let Senator Clint, if you allow, or Someone's saying no, but maybe they need to talk to each other.
Thank you, Madam Vice. Your time's up. Senator Amanda, do you have any comments?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming down, President of the Mayor's Council. I sincerely appreciate all that you shared with us today, and most especially the work that you're doing, along with all of the mayors who are standing alongside you and providing for each of your constituents and beyond your constituents of your villages. So I can imagine if the senators are getting phone calls, when we can receive phone calls and helping in any way we can, you are feeling that 100 times exponentially more than us. So we are eternally grateful, and I know our gratitude is not going to get you the help that you need. You were talking a few minutes ago that, we can't throw more money at the Mayor's Council of Guam because you don't have the support that you need to spend the money. So in this state of emergency, there is emergency procurement allowed by the executive order, allowed in our Guam code for mayors to spend. So what is the support that we can give you in this moment to spend in the emergency, the money that you do have available to you?
So the money that we do have would obviously be the ARPA, right? That's a large amount, and it would be for heavy equipment and for machinery, chainsaws and the like. But I think the issue, Senator, and for everyone, is that we cannot find a chainsaw on island. We cannot find a generator on island. But Senator, this is where I go back to day one of planning. The military said, tell us what you need. And if I, from the Mayor's Council of Guam, could have made that list on behalf of the government of Guam, I would have been able to give them a list. And I don't think they have a shortage of chainsaws or generators or bucket trucks or dump trucks. So spending the money, that's one aspect, but the resources, the available resources on island is another aspect. I do appreciate that, and I understandably, we can do emergency procurement, but that I think would be the end result, including services. So we're also willing to contract services, but landscape services, right, for debris cleanup. But there again, we all utilize the same companies, and you'll go to DPW and they do the same thing. And everyone would yell at Vince because, Hafa, where's this and where's that? But we're all pulling from the same pool. The one thing that I have found in this round is that because we're talking more and more people are coming to me saying, hey, Mayor, I have a small business. I have a dump truck. And I'll take it down, I'll take their card, and we'll put them on a list. Yes, it's not the most ideal, but at least we know they have a dump truck and that we could go to them for one dump truck or something similar. And then you have these other businesses that provide different types of services. They're coming out to us and letting us, Facebook is crazy, telling us about, oh, we can do this and we can do that. But of course, there's so many different things we have to do. And one of the things is, are they licensed, right? And then we have to go through DOA because they have to be a vendor, a proper vendor of the government of Guam. So all of that has to happen. If they're not, then we need to make that happen. So there are different things that can happen, but I do appreciate that you have reminded me about that. I think the end result is the resources available.
Okay, totally understandable. I think that's what I was trying to get at. Is it that we are able, maybe now in this state of emergency, to spend the money, but the resources are not there for us, especially because we're cut off right now from so many different resources that we are used to or comfortable with that make our lives easier here. And so as we deal with that, I know there's a lot of patience and understanding that we're asking for, but you're right, the frustration is totally warranted, especially for the people who have lost everything and are not getting any answers or information. And I appreciate that because what I'm hearing from you, and I think everyone around us, is that We know these lessons already. Even I can remember 20 years ago as a very young girl that things were happening, that we had a recovery office responding, and we just stood up a few months ago a recovery office for the COVID pandemic. And so now is the time to revamp, to adapt, to change lanes here and get that recovery office in place for this emergency response. And I'm referencing the executive order calling for this state of emergency that says we have a Guam Homeland Security FEMA 2018 Guam Catastrophic Typhoon Plan. We have a 2016 Guam Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan that we are to follow. And we don't hear any of this happening, especially from you on the ground. And so I will save those questions for when our FEMA representatives come so that you can get back to serving the people and when we start talking to the rest of the panel. But these things do exist, and I hope that we can better communicate within the government and with the people of Guam, because that is what everyone is longing for in this moment. We can't ignore the fact that radio was cut off, television, internet. We kind of were helpless in that way. But there is more information to give and a way for us to do it, and we need to work together to do it. So Mayor, thank you for reminding us here in the legislature that we need to work harder and together and not to forget all of the people who are serving us and the people who we are serving, the people of Guam. Siduos Masi, Mayor.
Thank you, Senator. May I comment, Mr. Chair? So on the plan, for the plans that you reference, and if that plan did not have a communications plan or a failed communications plan, I'm always going back to 20 years ago where we had cell phones, but not as sophisticated as this, and we still survived. If I needed something, I got in the car and I went. So to say that you can't get a hold of us is unacceptable.
Yes, absolutely, Mayor. I've had a few people over the last few days making comments to me saying, we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have internet so widely available in Pang Sang Hua, but somehow we knew more information then. And so, we're going to work to do that. Even though we're here talking about a spending bill for these funds, we know that's on our to-do list now. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Shelton. Yeah, there's no iConnect no more. I think that company shut down. It was walkie-talkie. Senator Perez, do you have any comments or questions?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank you, Mayor Alec, for being here and bringing, what we have to do. And I know apparently we've dropped the ball as a government. And I just feel that, when speaking with GWA, when I first became senator, they assured me that the generators are going to be present, so that should the power fail, there's going to be running water. So it's going to be my task to figure out what happened to that. I was not expecting water to be out for this long. I was expecting it to be coming back online. So that's a huge problem, especially, we don't want, the secondary illnesses to come up, after a typhoon, and we need people to have water. This is really a critical part of recovery. I was there in Typhoon Pamela, right? And I remember being without water for 3 months, right? They come around with the trucks with the water and you fill it up then. I think that maybe we need to go back to the old days where they bring the water to you so you don't have to use the gas to go to get the water. I think, that's probably one thing we need to include in this emergency plan. More decentralized access, or bringing the water and the food to the people rather than the people having to go and search for them. I don't know, CB radios, maybe we need to go back to those old days where, the access to information is readily available, so we don't rely on, the cell phone towers. We have to have these redundancies in place. Like you said, we come from a history of typhoons. We know how to overcome them. And what happened, right? What happened that, I did, we should have been more prepared. And so we need to, this is not going to answer your needs right now, but it is the intent of our body to get down to the root of the problem and to address the needs as quickly as possible. So, thank you for being here, and it's, I'm committed to making things right. We're all committed to making things right for the people. We see the suffering that is happening, in Jigo. It's devastated up there, Dedido, and everywhere. And, we're about to experience, perhaps more damage due to torrential rain. So we need to hurry up and get things right. And I want to get you out here as soon as possible. But, yeah, please, thank you for your voice. And we're here to make things right. So Zeus Masi.
Thank you, Senator Parrish. Senator Dwayne Nicholas, do you have any questions? If none, we'll move on.
Yes, sir, Your Honor, Mr. Chair. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor, for your colorful explanation of what we're going through. As a school counselor, my natural inclination is to believe and to work together and to try to solve this as amicable and as caring as possible. And we are all experiencing this this disaster of a storm and the aftermath. And I thank you for all your hard work. I know firsthand how hard you mayors work, and also the directors and everybody involved up there. I don't want to stall us any further, so I'm going to ask if we can get out of this committee on the hall and vote on this bill and get some action going. What do you say? That's a motion or a suggestion. What do you think? Let's get out of the committee of the whole. Let's do what we need to do and get everybody back to work.
Let me just pause at this point. Let me get legal to make sure I make the right statements. Thank you. 10-second recess.
Thank you, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Committee host called back to order. There is a motion, my colleagues. We will move to, are there any objection to that motion? Please raise your hand if you have an objection, so I know you have an, there is an objection. Okay, let's move to the vote. All in favor of the motion of getting out of the committee of the whole, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion fails. Do you have anything else you wanted to comment?
Can I amend my motion to finish the round?
No need. We will. You continue now.
Oh, okay.
You got 4 minutes left, Senator Nicholas.
At least I tried. I just want to get everybody back to work and get the people of Guam the help they need as fast as possible. No more questions. No more playing this game. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Nicholas. Senator Roy Canata. Oh,
Huffady. Mayor, thank you. Thank you to all the mayors. Thank you to GTA. Thank you to Docomo, all the network operators, ITNE. Thank you to all the people, all the first responders responding, whether you have a private license plate or a yellow license plate. At this time, I have a sprained ankle. I don't work for DPW, but you take ownership, you take leadership, you take initiative. There's a lot of resources that we don't have at this time. We hear it, we know it. But we have to, work together collaboratively. Yes, I'm a politician, but I'm not out there trying to get recognition for clearing my road or my neighbor's road or the road on the side of the tree on the side of the street. But I'm really not too sure what we really have a miscommunication on other than the networks being down. And again, the situation is beyond us because There's so much technical assistance that's needed to run the networks. You can have people, volunteers out there, but if they cannot fix the network, we really cannot get the network up anyway. But I'm asking the people to also help clear your area. You know, as much as we want to have a beautiful home and our yards pretty and landscaped and everything, right now the priority is to get the resources out and get life back in motion. My house is still in shambles. I still got trees over my roof. My house still smells wet. But I know that the priority is the people. If we get them access to the assistance, then they can go back to their lives. I mean, there's people that have worse situations than me, worse situations than a lot of us in here. So yes, I did line up at the JFK gas station, but it was for gas for my vehicle to also go help for people that don't have water. I even gas tanks for the chainsaw on my own personal dollar. But it's up to you. How much you want to go out there and do these things. Do I get workman's comp for spraining my ankle? No. But, you know, I really hear my colleagues' concern, and I appreciate the objection from Senator Tello. But, you know, I think we keep going, if we go around in circles more than I think we need, we're just delaying the process of response. And I think the best way to get response out there is to minimize the conversations in here and get back to work. Get back to helping the people. GWA, I don't know how better to get water lines more visible. GPA is doing all they can. GPA power lines are above the land, so you can see it. Water lines are underground, so obviously if you don't have x-ray vision, you cannot see it until you start seeing the water leaking, right? So it's a different situation, and we just have to push forward as much as we can. And again, it's going to be a long road to recovery. I mean, GPA has been doing substantial improvements. I think we've got power back online a little bit. But again, these things are not going to happen overnight. 6 days later. But, you know, I think we all want to do our very best to get these things get back to normal. And I think we just need to work together, whatever we need to do to move forward and push forward our agendas collaboratively to get people back to work and get people back into life. With that being said, thank you. I don't have any further comments. I just want us to get back to life.
Thank you. Senator Parkinson, do you have any comments? Real quick, I didn't realize we missed you here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a former emergency service worker myself, the way I'm really looking at this is kind of a dry run for future storms. And it's clear from the testimony here that we have been lacking in some regard. And really, I just want to know where is the GAR at in all of this? Because from what I understand, there are master plans in place, there are emergency response plans, and you know.
Senator Parkinson, just mindful, we're only asking questions of the mayor, not in general the government. Not unless the mayor can respond.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Where is the government in all this? Have you spoken with the GAR at all?
Well, Senator, I have to say that I totally disagree with your statement that this is not a dry run. That is the problem, Senator. With all due respect, that is the problem. This is not a dry run. We are pros. If it is dry run for you, sir, so be it. But for the majority of this legislature and the majority of this island, the Chamorro people, this storm is not a dry run. The problem is the operations of the recovery, or the lack of operations for the recovery. The problem that I have, and the reason why I am here, is because the recovery efforts have failed the people of Guam. If there is a plan, the plan was not executed. If the plan was executed, it's a failed plan.
Yeah. And I apologize, Mayor. I misspoke there. I didn't mean to say that this was a dry one. This is absolutely a serious situation. But what I'm looking at is I don't want a repeat of this if we have another typhoon. And so I wanted to know, like, what was your did you have a conversation with the GAR?
Sir, pre-storm, the governor calls her necessary people. A handful of us, myself, because I'm the president of the Mayor's Council of Guam, into a pre-storm meeting, making sure that everyone in the room, including emergency operations, is prepared, including GPA, GWA, DPW. Everyone at the table tells the governor they are prepared. We are prepared. I tell the governor that I have asked our executive director to ensure that every mayor's office has heavy equipment purchase orders. Not because it's our duty, but because I have a brain. I have common sense to know that someone's going to fail us. And so everyone in that room should have been prepared. You can get an attendance listing from the governor. In the Core 1, the governor calls another meeting, another handful of people, important people. Everyone in this panel was represented at that meeting. And everybody says they're ready to go. Core 4, we have another meeting, same day, a couple of hours later, another group of people talking about waste management. But all we've been doing is talking. The execution never occurred. And if it occurred, I'm not sure what plan they were executing. People were in a conversation, and I think the right people were there. There perhaps may have been some that were missing, like trash, like GSWA. I think GSWA was looped in at the very end, but even at that, GSWA has no excuse for not having a trash plan. Senators, they absolutely have no excuse. For the people of Guam to know yesterday about the trash plan, that is unacceptable, because then where are the people going to put the trash? And for us, I have communications with them, begging for an answer. Can the resident just put the trash outside and will you pick it up? But of course, everybody has to check somebody and make sure that it's correct. You don't have a plan? You know that the storm was going to come? Of course, trash is going to come. And again, with all due respect, Senator, this is not a dry run. We know that when the wind blows, there's going to be trash. So where are we going to put the trash? But the problem is, if there was a plan, it wasn't executed. And if we still don't know what we're going to do, just so that you know, we still don't know what to do with the trash. Maybe household trash, but we don't know what to do with metal, the tin roof, and the wood, the lumber. It is day 6. Have you seen a JIC report that says what we're going to do with it? I haven't. So yes, the governor engaged people. The governor spoke. The governor did request for updates. And I don't know if they didn't tell the truth. Maybe they needed to be sworn in just like here. But those are the people that should answer to you and to the people of Guam, because they're the ones that failed us. Going down to trash, just trash. Imagine that. You cannot figure out trash, and yet whose problem it's going to be us. I'm here, sir, because it's our problem. Yet it really isn't ours.
I appreciate your frustration, sir, because I share the same lack of understanding on what the procedures are, what the plan is going to be. Because I got part of a neighbor's roof in my own yard. I don't know what to do with it. And so I guess I don't know who we need to have impaneled and sworn in here, but I do want to make sure that whatever failures we experience in this storm, we don't experience them in future storms, because this is the start of typhoon season. There's a very real possibility this will not be the last one, and we need to get on point, get on our game, and I don't know where the breakdown is, but I certainly intend to do my part to find out, sir, so that we don't go through this poor response again in the future.
May I answer? May I respond?
Yes, go ahead. You wanna
Sir,
respond?
I just have to say, you have oversight over these agencies. And some of you have been chastised for the oversight that you provide or the oversight that you want. But this is the time. That's your role. So, if I may, use that oversight power and get the answer.
Yes, sir. I have direct oversight over GPA, and from my accounts, it seems like John Beneventi and the crews have been working around the clock and been doing a fantastic job. I just wanted to get your feelings on how those operations were going. Is there way, because that's my direct oversight. So, is there any ways we could better serve the Mayor's Council and all the mayors with the power utilities?
Well, the utilities, they replied at the meetings with the governor that they were prepared. I do know that John B. has given us comforting information that there's a process that they follow. Whether or not that is actually disseminated to the people, I don't know. If you're not getting it in simplified form, whatever you see, I see as well. So if it's not as simplified as you need it, then perhaps that's what needs to get clarified. But I do know that between the two, Power has been the most responsive to us. Power has been the most clear with their plan to us. Whether the people understand it and whether they like it is another option, is another issue.
Okay, that was my similar read as well with GPA. I thought they've had a pretty good responsiveness towards questions in the community, and I just wanted to make sure that you're seeing the same thing I was seeing there.
And then I do have to back GPA up, and everyone was tapping on them for their electrical expertise. And John B., he has a reasonable mind, and so he will let you know if he's going to do it or not. But he was also trying to help the rest of the agencies figure out their issues. And everyone is critical, right, during an emergency. And I say it that way because I know that he was trying not to spread his staff too thin. Yeah. But again, that just kind of will trickle down in an oversight perhaps.
Yeah.
But we heard less from GWA. We had less concrete information from GWA. But that's not your oversight, I apologize.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here we are, 2023, a Parkinson saying GPA is doing a great job. So, miracles can happen, and I'm hopeful that, maybe we can get things right and do better in this disaster response, because I lived through Pang Sanwa, I lived through Paca, I lived through Omar. I consider myself an old hand, and so maybe I'm a little bit, I remember what it was like to not have gas for 3 months and power for months on end, and I don't want to go back to those days, but the bar was set so low for me that, sometimes I got to check myself, like, are we doing a good job? Because I'm seeing Agana and Tamuning, they got lights on. I'm seeing lots of areas in the island having some lights on when I'm driving through in the evenings that I feel pretty hopeful, at least in terms of the utility situation. And I'm sorry, so things are so down for you, Mayor. I just feel so helpless, but I wish there was something I can do to help. Because I want to help the mayors. I do. Like, I think we're all on the same side on this. It's just tell me where to jump, and I'll ask how high. So with that, I yield the rest of my time, and God bless Guam.
Thank you, Senator Parkinson. Senator Fisher, do you have any comments, questions?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Mayor, thank you for your work, and I'd like to thank all the mayors of the island. I know that you've got other things to do than listen to me speechify, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Fisher. Senator Typhoon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mayor Alec, thank you so much for your passion. We needed somebody to come up on this committee of the whole and give a speech that you did. I want to thank you personally for taking my call a couple days ago to assist me with something personal that I experienced during this storm. And I want you to know that, we were doing everything we can possible to help those individuals that needed to keep their insulin cold. In fact, I'm using my office right now, the refrigerator that we have, and making ice for those individuals. So If anyone is listening, please reach out to me. I know communications is very difficult. Mayor Alec, I'm just very taken back by anyone telling us that the mayors are not first responders. Do we have to change that by law to ensure that anytime anything like this happens again, that you are a first responder? Or is it just that one person who didn't know better, who didn't get the memo that mayors are first responders?
Well, I don't know about the law, but perhaps it was just that one officer. I think, though, that when those instructions are being, or when they're being tasked out, perhaps it could just be listed as that, as such. However, I'll be clear, though, about the Shell gas station. They did accept us as first responders, but we had to line up in the long line.
Yeah, that needs to change. I think there needs to be some priority. It's obvious that the governor, I heard earlier about the governor saying that they want you to run the, some kind of...
So, Senator, if I may, if this was an emergency, perhaps the plan should have included that certain first responders had certain locations or gas stations that they could avail of. And if the mayors had gas station X and GPD had gas station C, so on and so forth, there wouldn't be such a problem.
Yeah.
And who was going to. But that's all about management, Senator. And it's all about a plan. And that's not the mayor's plan. That should have been the emergency operations plan. Exactly. And that, again, does not fall on the Mayor's Council of Guam. So thank you for bringing it up, because I go back to the reason why I'm here, because, again, the plan should have been executed, and the plan should have been shared with you and with us, so that we can execute for the people of Guam.
And I'd like to really thank you for making the initiative on your own to think ahead and prepare yourself, because, you know, I have to say this. It wasn't just the government of Guam that was not prepared for this. I think the people of Guam, too, underestimated this storm. I was very lucky to arrive on Guam on Monday, to get here in time on Monday. And I didn't see that many cars lining up for gas. I didn't see people preparing themselves either. So I think the whole island underestimated, thinking that, oh, this is going to go to Saipan like it's been doing for the last 20 years. But I want to thank you, Mayor, for reminding us our collective duty as a government to do better, to work harder, and not to underestimate anything that comes our way. We're going into El Nino, and if the people of Guam are listening today, be prepared, because it's anticipated that we are going to get more storms, and they're going to be worse. I am so looking forward to the Mayor's Council coming together and giving us a post-report after this situation. Hopefully we can get back on our feet, but we all must work together. We are all experiencing this together. This body appropriates. That's what we're going to do today, and we're going to do it responsibly. We're not, like you said, Mayor, not going to throw the money, throw it your way. We're going to do what we can to make sure that procurement is done collectively and quickly, because that's what you need. You need these equipments to you right now, and we have to bypass some of these emergency procurements that are even not that emergency. It's so slow. You should be able to buy it tomorrow or today. So we need to help you there. And then after we do our job here, it's the administration's responsibility to execute. To execute. I appreciate how you go beyond your responsibility as a mayor, because this is a time in your career, Mayor, that your people are looking to you and all the other mayors to help them. This is your greatest moment to help. And we will do everything we can to help you as well. So I wish you the very best, and remind everyone, that this is not over. We are experiencing flash flooding in some areas, so everybody please be cautious. And we will do everything we can possible to ensure the safety and well-being, especially those who are in medical conditions right now, who are waiting to have been postponed with their operations or anything that's happening now. So I'm looking forward to FEMA. I am so looking forward to hearing from FEMA. So thank you, Mr. Chair. And God bless you, Jesse, and all the mayors that are out there. Please give them my sincerest sijusmasi, adonkalu sijusmasi.
Thank you, Senator Typhoon. Mr. Mayor, Jesse, thank you for coming by. You're now released. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. Committee holds call back to order. We have DPW here, Public Health, GPA, BVMR. I'm going to ask the panel to brief us all on what's going on or what they're doing. And then we move on from there. We'll begin with DPW. Mr. Ariola.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is, good morning, Senators. My name is Vince Ariola. I'm the Director at the Department of Public Works. I don't even know where to begin. There's so much that's been discussed. I know I've worked with a number of you for quite a while, and I'm probably one of the oldest here in this hall. But if I can just preface my statement with a few things. I've had the pleasure, if you will, or the fortune of going through every typhoon on Guam since Typhoon Karen when I was 6 years old. I've had the pleasure of going through 8 typhoons in one year when I was with Governor Gutierrez. I was running GTA at the time, and you know, we've always learned our lesson. I think the huge frustration from everybody in this room, and especially with Mayor and myself and the people of Guam, is every time there's a typhoon, the first thing they really want is water. Everybody wants and needs water because it's a health issue for them, it's a comfort issue for them, and it's a safety issue for them. And if we can just get water before, during, and after typhoons, I think that's 50% of the issue. Of course, everybody wants electricity. Electricity and power gives you even more comfort. You get to watch TV, turn on your air conditioner, you get to cook, the families are happy, people are happy, and you get to turn on your vacuums and clean the house so that got flooded. So, you know, that adds to the equation as well. And then, of course, you have, in today's world, you know, cell phone coverage, right? And internet coverage. You throw that into the equation. Getting to and from work, or getting to and from wherever you need to go. That's when the roads get thrown into the equation. And then lastly is the gas. And if there was ever a perfect storm, no pun intended, if there was ever a perfect storm with, I don't even know how to pronounce this typhoon's name, Mawar or whatever, it happened, right? It happened. Were we prepared for it? Probably not. As Senator Tello was saying, I think we got caught with our pants down. A lot of people did. But you know, back in the day, the governor back then had full control of everything on this island. Everything. Today, the governor, and this is not to cover the governor, this is not to cover our executive branch, I'm just speaking what's with us today. And I think I can, because I've had enough in public service to say it, and I've had enough experience to tell you the difference. The difference back then is you had a governor that had control of every single agency here in Guam. Every agency. Today, the governor has no control over GPA, Waterworks, Guam Solid Waste, the AG, the OPA, and DOE. That's a clear majority of the government. When you don't have that kind of control, what are you going to do? And my case in point, look who's here from GPA and GWA. Who's here? I'm under the executive branch. I get called to this because you oversee my budget. You have oversight over DPW. That's why I'm here. GPA is not going to come here. They made some of our meetings. GWA is not here. I mean, they got representatives. That's fine. That's not the real thing. If you want real hard answers, like the mayor said, you need accountability, and they're not here because they fall under CCU, and that was created separately here. So when you have these separate autonomous agencies that don't fall under the general fund or whatever, this is part of what's going to happen. You know, back then when we had the typhoons, the governor just calls all the utility agents. Back then it was GTA, PUAG, and GPA. We were the top three to restore this island. And he just points and points and points, and it gets done. Now, GPA has a certain protocol that they have to follow. I don't know how long it takes. You know, kudos to them.
Excuse me, Mr. Ariola. Mr. Chairman, I appreciate all the points that Mr. Ariola wants to make, but what I do want to hear is the status of where we are with DPW so that we can move on with our agenda. We understand the structure of the government. We probably put it where it's at with regards to autonomous agencies for many other reasons, but I don't want to discuss that today. Can we focus on where we're at with recovery with DPW? If you don't mind, Mr. Ariel, that would be very helpful for us and our people out there. Thank you.
All right. Fair enough. Pre-typhoon, we sat down and like the mayor said, we had pre-typhoon condition meetings. And our plan pre-typhoon was to make sure that all our equipment, heavy equipment, and all our staff was staged in various areas throughout the island. These are known areas that were known to either flood or to have major damages to the roads or blockages to the roads so that you couldn't pass, right? And so we had equipment staged down at the usual Barcinas area in Melissa that always floods. At the Polaris Point area, we had equipment there, and all throughout Marine Drive. And the reason why I say all throughout Marine Drive is because our plan was, as soon as this typhoon ended, the first thing that we were going to do, the first issues that we were going to do, the first roads that we were going to clear was we were going to work at all three hospitals, the Naval Hospital, Guam Memorial Hospital, and GRMC. And we were going to work from those three hospitals and work our way out. And the reason for that is so that if there are injuries, if people need help, ambulances, healthcare workers need to get to the hospital, they're accessible. So that's exactly what we did. We worked from GMH out to Route 30, GMH out to Route 14, GRMC, we did Route 3, we did Marine Drive, Naval Hospital. We pre-cleared Naval Hospital Snake Road the day before, if not 2 days before. So that was already cleared before the typhoon came. We cleared Route 7 going up Government Hill, Route 4 as well, that would lead to Naval Hospital. So that was our priority. If the mayor said they didn't see us, that's fine. I'm okay with that. You know, they didn't see us. We were there, but we did it. We cleaned Marine Drive. We cleaned. We cleared Route 8, Route 10, Route 16, all the major routes. And I'll admit, we did it with the help of some of the mayors. We saw the mayors out. They were assisting us cutting the trees and everything. So we did that within 24 hours. We started Thursday, I think when we were close to getting Core 4, which was Thursday around 5 o'clock. By Friday evening, those routes were clear. And I know that because I drove it myself. I know that because I was on Marine Drive clearing storm drains. I know that because I had volunteers who were helping us clear Marine Drive. That plan, we put that plan into place, and thank God it worked. The other thing that I'm thankful for is that we didn't have any down power poles. I think if we had down power poles, it'd be a little bit of a different story. But you know, 24 hours, we had the major routes cleared. We also topped off all the fuel for all of GPD. We assisted GMH with topping off the fuel. We assisted OCD, Office of Civil Defense, yes, OCD. Office of Civil Defense, we topped off their generators. Let's see, who else? And then we also, we had our contracts ready to go with private heavy equipment rental. So we were set there. The only thing we really couldn't do was with regard to traffic signals. If we could wave a magic wand and take them down quickly, we would have, but we just couldn't. They had to stay up, and as a result, we lost pretty much all our traffic signals. That's pretty much all I have on the roads. On our traffic signals, in terms of restoration, we're concentrating on, I believe, 7 along Marine Drive, the Route 1 and Route 4, Route 1 and Route 8, ITC intersection, Route 1 and 30, Route 1 and 10A, and Route 1 and 16. Those are the ones we're concentrating on. The unit, the traffic signal at Kmart was just turned on yesterday. Route 1 should be turned on, Route 1 and Route 4 should be turned on today. The issue with our traffic signals, the one at ITC is ready to go, but we're having issues with power there because that's been turned on. That's one of those adopted traffic lights with Take Care, and they're having generator issues. We have put in a request for generators to FEMA to power these traffic signals. And the good part is they're small generators that we're requesting. The bad part is, as the mayor said, there's no more generators on island. We understand that a number of generators and chainsaws are coming in from Saipan. They might be here. I don't know, but as of yesterday afternoon, like around 2 o'clock, they were on their way. So they should be on Guam shortly, if not already here. So I put in that request for generators for traffic signals directly to the governor, lieutenant governor, and the FEMA rep yesterday afternoon. If those come, we can get those traffic signals up and running. At least the majority of traffic signals along Marine Drive and the tri-intersection, and we can use the National Guard and the public safety folks elsewhere. At the onset, right after our post-typhoon, our initial post-typhoon meetings with the governor and with the military and some FEMA individuals, they asked, what do we need immediately? We put in our request for 20 dump trucks and 20 backhoes just after taking a drive around the central and northern part of the island. And going back to my experience with all the typhoons, I've never seen so much green waste in my life. And I think that happened because we haven't had a major typhoon in the last 20 years. So we've got so much green out there, so many trees that are down. I think the green waste removal is going to be an incredible task for us to take care of. So that's in the hopper. DPW does not have adequate equipment. Neither are the private sector heavy equipment companies. There's some real small ones. A guy maybe has 2 dump trucks. They're on our list. I just got a text. This guy has 2 excavators. We're grabbing them, putting them on our list, and trying to get the POs out. But I can safely say, does Guam have enough heavy equipment, at least for typhoon debris? Absolutely not. A big portion of them, a huge portion of them, and you've heard me say this at oversight hearings and at budget hearings, a huge portion of the equipment and resources are being used for the military buildup inside Anderson, inside Naval Station, inside Camp Blas. Okay, so I already talked about the backhoes, the dump trucks, generators, traffic signals. There's been talk that, as the mayor said, and he's correct, the military came to us and they said, what do you need? What do you need? Just because they ask us does not mean that they have it. Because we've asked them. I've asked them. I said, do you have 20 dump trucks, 20 backhoes, 20 operators? No, they do not have it. I forgot to mention, in line with that request to FEMA, The guard was gracious enough and generous enough to offer that they have operators for that. So that's the good part. You know, we've got operators standing by at the guard when we do receive these heavy equipment. Right now, we have 10 crews. We've split all the DPW crews. We split them up. We've got 10 crews throughout the island, still doing storm cleanup, debris cleanup, storm drainage clearing, attending to some of the issues from the mayors, and things of that nature. We cleared the road to Luzon about 2 days ago because you know, in working with the general manager there, they were unable to dump trash unless their roadway was clear. Just a real simple story, not to throw them under the bus. You know, we took a backhoe up there, we took the dump trucks, we cleared the road, and by the time we reached Luzon, we cleared all the trees from that 1 mile stretch. Guess what happened when we reached Luzon? Excavator was there, a skid steer was there, a backhoe was there, and a couple dump trucks was there. You know, I looked at her and said, come on, they could have cleared the road. They really could have. We could have used that backhoe elsewhere. So, you know, we're trying our best. The reason why they said it, Vince, the roads are yours. Okay, I get it. But as the mayor said, it's all hands on deck. And I'll tell you, you know, we're getting a lot of support from not just the mayors, but a lot of support from the individuals out there. They're out there, they're grabbing their chainsaws, they're pulling it, they're helping us clean, and we totally appreciate that. You know, as that's the spirit that we want. But man, if we're really going to be black and white about this is your job and this is your job, you know, we're not going to get anywhere. So I just wanted to throw that out. So, you know, moving forward, our equipment is out there. We're doing 12-hour shifts. On the refueling, we're doing probably 17, if not 18-hour shifts to refuel. The GPA precincts, we assisted the hospital a little bit. Now that they're back on GPA power, they won't need us. We're assisting civil defense. We're refueling generators at DOC, at DYA, all the government facilities, plus. We did the airport last night as well because their private contractor wasn't able to assist them. So, you know, again, this gas situation really threw a monkey wrench into everybody's recovery efforts, if you will. I think if we didn't have these, and I don't need to go into it, but I'm sure you know what happened at the rack down there with their generator. Even that we had to assist. So, if you want to know what DPW needs, the heavy equipment would be the best with operators. We know we have a huge task up against us with the green waste sites. 19 have been established. We've worked with EPA and with agriculture to make sure that these sites have been approved. I think part of the issues too is two, if not three of the mayors didn't want to use certain sites, so they changed the sites within their villages. EPA had to go out there and make sure it's one of those approved things. So as of yesterday afternoon, we had a final set of sites. The Guard is going to man it 24/7. We're going to assist as much as we can to push the debris and make sure it's centered. But the plan there with the debris is it'll be staged at these 19 sites. Air curtain burners will be used to help dispose of the green waste, in addition to these commercial chipper shredders that will mulch the green waste into compost. And as the folks from EPA said, the compost will be used as a commodity for all our farmers, our gardeners, and so on and so forth. So the end result is we'll take the green waste and turn it into either compost or ash. We started with the green waste because clearly someone threw a number out. We tried to get a number of how much of all the waste, 100% waste, how much is green waste, and the numbers came out easy 75%, if not 80%. So that's what we're dealing with. We still have to deal with metal waste, white goods, plastics, tires, abandoned vehicles. We are formulating a plan to get those. We're looking for separate sites for those, and we're also looking for contractors to take them directly. If we can get those, the heavy equipment, again, we'll help move those so that they don't stand around and stay in the neighborhoods. I know exactly what these mayors are going through because I'm in every village as well, and they see Public Works. They're hammering for us to come and take their trash, take their white goods, take everything. You know, I think the other thing that I need to say is, when we do things, there's a lot of regulations, and if I had my way, and I'll say it straight up, if I had my way, I'd have EPA and agriculture and all these regulatory guys go to vacation for a year so we can do our job. But we can't, right? We just can't. There's local laws, there's federal laws that we have to deal with, and FEMA. FEMA has a lot of requirements if we're going to get reimbursed. And those requirements are documentation for all our expenditures. And it's not that all our expenditures are going to get reimbursed. I'm still trying to figure out something with FEMA because I just got informed yesterday that, and I hope it's not correct, is that only the green waste that is on our easements will be subject to reimbursement. I'm trying to get clarity on that. That's not in stone. But that was told to me. I was informed of that yesterday. How am I gonna quantify green waste that was only on our roads? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that, because right now all the green waste that was on our roads are off the roads. But you know, that's mixed up with residents, with commercial, with who knows what. So that's an issue I have to tackle. That's all I have, Senators. Open up for questions.
Thank you very much, Director Arreola. Director San Agustin from Department of Public Health and Social Services.
Thank you very much. Members of the 37th Guam Legislature, let me first and foremost just say that when you look at public health and social services, we're not like the Guam Memorial Hospital. It primarily has a main facility and the skilled nursing. Just to give you the gamut of how large we are, or in terms of locations, we have 13 different physical sites. And off the 12 are actually operational in terms of staff actually working from those sites. And one site, which is our former Central Public Health Facility, has been used temporarily as a storage site. But just to kind of give you what we're looking at in terms of our operations, with the 13, now 12 occupied sites, that's a total of 31 offices. Of my 31 offices, 16 sites have water. One is with low water pressure. 15 have no running water through their pipes. In terms of power, 11 have no generator on site or power source, and 19 are on generator, and I have one on island power. So we're very much challenged with regards to our operations. So in terms of what we're doing, our North and Southern Health Center is not the best of news to share with you and the community listening. They are both closed at this time. We're needing to top off the fuel at that location. We are working with FEMA. They have raised these two health centers as a priority. While that has been elevated, we still remain without fuel. We do have contracts, even before the storm, for these generators to be topped off. And they were topped off because we were operating throughout the storm on Core 1. North and South were operational 24/7. So we did provide services during the typhoon. But post-typhoon, we now need them to be refueled in order for us to open up. That also affects the other programs that are within and operate from these two health centers. For example, the Division of Public Welfare. They run our SNAP program, which is basically the former food stamp program and other public assistance programs. So what we've done is we moved our staff over to our RAN Cure office in Tamuning, because both health centers are closed, and that is where the staff are operating from. Today I've asked Carlos to send a team out to our shelters, and we're working with our RAC to get the list over to Carlos, who oversees the Division of Public Welfare, and see who at the shelter may need assistance in terms of enrolling in public assistance, be it health insurance, like Medicaid or MIP or both, and also perhaps for SNAP and any other public assistance program. So they're out there doing that. I know there was some conversation about the need to refrigerate medication. I have my chief public health officer working with our chief pharmacist. Just what can we do and what's the volume? So they're trying to get a pulse on that. We're working with the RAC. And they're also looking at the legality of us managing medication that, one, was not prescribed by the health center physicians, and the medication may be controlled substances. So where we're asking our chief pharmacist to help us set up the protocol, address liability, if any. But we definitely want to help. We're trying to figure out how to do that as soon as possible. We're also working through our chief pharmacist and our chief public health officer to work with the Guam Pharmacy Association to assess the amount of loss of meds on Guam. And we're also looking at our emergency pharmacy assistance program as a possible assistance program for those who with no insurance who may have lost their medication. We're also working with our public welfare team under the SNAP program. We have submitted a request to proceed and apply for the food loss. What this will do is for the 23,100 households under SNAP for the month of May, that's the number of households, it averages about 63,000 individuals. When we get approved for the food loss, it would allow our SNAP participants to complete an affidavit of the percentage of loss they experience, food loss. From that affidavit, which can be transmitted WhatsApp, email, or at a Dropbox, they do not have to come in person. There is no interview. It is an affidavit they sign. We will then load the percentage that they claim as loss. So if someone receives $100 for the month, if they say I've lost 30% of that, $30, the system will, once processed, load up $30 to replenish their loss, right? Now, should we have a significant number, and that's 50% or higher, of our participants file food loss claim, that will trigger the automatic mass replenishment. What that means is everyone, head of household, who was in the food stamp or SNAP program, their benefits will be uploaded 100% benefit for the month of May. We're also pursuing disaster SNAP, which is another public assistance program. But that would require the presidential declaration, which we received for major disaster and individual assistance, which we have received. So we are also now working with our food FNS team, a U.S. FNS, food stamp program counterparts and partners, so that we can access the disaster SNAP. And that's a larger process because we're looking at the larger community in terms of the Guam community, those who are not on SNAP, but we're also inquiring, and this is where we're still at the conversation point where we're also asking, well, if it's for the non-SNAP participants, will the SNAP participants still be able to qualify for the emergency disaster SNAP? And that's a conversation we're continually having with the SNAP staff, our federal partners, and that hasn't been answered yet. But we are in conversation with them. But the first is the food loss. That's already in motion. We already submitted our letter. We're just now waiting for their approval. And then they will guide us on what the other steps are so that we can make this come sooner than later to the community of those under the SNAP program. Okay. Let me see. Now, many of you know Environmental Health is processing center is at the Hessler. That part of our structure did suffer water damage, and some of the ceiling tiles did fall onto the floor and onto the desk and in a lot of areas there on half the building, and including our financial management section. So right now, Environmental Health is operating out of the Dedadu site. Now, we've suspended the processing of applications for health certificates and other processes like sanitary permits, and we're rescheduling, and we sent a press release out on that for those training the schedule that has been impacted by the typhoon. But I'm also working with their administrator to see what we can do in terms of operating some or providing some of these services at the mosquito lab. And so he's there right now. Now, again, the mosquito lab, like the health centers, are operating on a generator until we get on island power. So it's also dependent on making sure that we get field to these sites. I also want to share that with regards to aging services, we have resumed the service of home-delivered meals. So our seniors who are homebound, as long as the home is accessible, that there's no flooding or any kind of situation barrier, they are providing the meals to the seniors. The only services that are not being provided right now is our adult daycare and senior center operations, and that's simply because the structures need to be assessed. We need power and water to make sure it's safe for our seniors to return. Legal services also is having intermittent power stability, is having power stability is an issue for them. They're fluctuating, so they're not able to provide services right now for that. Division of Senior Citizens just received approval today. They informed me that they got approval for a grab-and-go concept. Now, the grab-and-go concept is for our seniors who go to the congregate sites. We have home-delivered, who are seniors who are homebound, and then we have the congregate sites. So they're putting a plan together, but I'm sharing that with you all. They're putting a plan together how we can deploy a grab-and-go concept. Now, it might be similar to COVID, where it's like a drive-through process. Food is bagged. Seniors or their caregivers or their family representative shows up and picks up the food service for them. Let's see. And I think that's about it, of course, subject to your questions, senators. The food laws, I just want to go back to the food loss one for under SNAP. The period of food loss approved right now that we submitted is subject to final approval. The proposed food loss period, subject to approval, is May 22nd to June 21st. And so any food loss experienced in that period. And so open to your questions and comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Snoxton. GPA, you brief? Please state your name. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Senators. Thank you for having us today. I'm Kenneth Gutierrez. I'm the Safety and Physical Security Manager. I also serve as the task force lead for Emergency Support Function 12, which is energy up at the Homeland Security Office. We are here today, as well as Mr. John Kim, our CFO, on behalf of the General Manager. He is under the weather, but he is leading our restoration efforts as we move forward. So just to paint a little picture in regards to our preparedness and readiness, GPA is separate in terms of our readiness and typhoon response plan. We've had the opportunity early on in learning of us shifting weather into an El Nino season, having the opportunity to recognize that we lost some key players with management, having new engineers on staff. We had a tabletop exercise with the National Weather Service early this month. So we do have a very resourceful and in-depth plan for our recovery efforts. The best in terms of numbers that I may have for you to provide would have been from the media release as of yesterday at 1 p.m., where our system load, which is the customer demand on the restored side, is at 21%. Our GPA substations, which are energized, is at 76.9%, and our feeders and circuits is at 47.6%. So that was as of 1 p.m. yesterday for our standing briefing with the governor and to the media release, but our crews have and continue to work 24/7 around the clock. As soon as a little blurb, if you will, comes up on the weather, our crews spin up and we are out there trimming, keeping the lines energized, all the way until Core 1, when it's actually our determination to stand them down for safety reasons. So we are one of the last on the road during condition of readiness 1, along with law enforcement and the emergency response, and we're the first out on the road as soon as the wind subside and continue to be in Core 1. So we do have a dedicated team of personnel. We have completed our assessments on our main transmission lines, and we continue to assess our distribution lines. So I'm sure the general manager has put out eloquently the type of how we get power to our down to the mayor's villages and what have you. So obviously we have to go from our generation plants, and we have to tackle our main transmission lines that get it to our substations. And from the substation, it brings the energy down to get into the distribution out to the mayors. I'm sorry, to the villages, if you will. So we are in the process of continuing with our plan, and with the exception of assistance pending from FEMA, we have invoked our mutual aid agreements. We have a number of aid agreements with not only CNMI, where we've requested already for line personnel, crew only, but we also have mutual aid agreements with the American Public Power Association. We have a long-standing relationship with them, and there we've requested for additional specialized bucket trucks, crew, materials, and that was to assist us with our issues with our transmission lines. So we have limited supply in that regard to tackle that task. And if there's anything else that, John, you'd like to add, that's pretty much our brief for this morning, or this afternoon. Apologize. Thank you.
Thank you, GPA. Senator Tello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I greatly appreciate the panel giving us an updated version, and those who are listening. But as we move forward on this bill, the bill will require more, information, especially from FEMA and, of course, the administration and BBMR. So at this time, I'd like us to recess and come back at I think it's 3:30, sir, if I'm not mistaken, to hear from FEMA and BBMR.
All right.
I object, Mr. Chair.
You
I'd
object?
like to finish with this panel, with the questioning of this panel, and so they can be dismissed for the day to continue their response. Mr. Chair, is GWA not here?
GWA is not here. We've been making effort to call. As a matter of fact, we called their office, and their response is, so I can make it very clear, their response they gave was, the GM was busy in meetings and will be out with staff to get water restored. I don't know how he's going to restore it when he has people that does that, and they do a great job. They got a call back from the GM office. He cannot make it, nor can he send a rep. I'm going to leave that to the oversight chair to figure that out with the GM, not me. That he has a board meeting to go to. That being said, there is a motion by my vice, and it was brought up earlier, but now it's being brought up again because the briefing has been given by the three. We go to the motion.
I would also like to object. I think that
Okay.
we still have questions for the panel.
Well, we have a motion right now. All in favor to recess till 3:30 this afternoon with FEMA and BBMR? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Motion passes. We are in recess till 3:30 this afternoon for BBMR and FEMA. And I'd ask Senator Senator Rigel to return also, please, so you can brief us. Thank you.